Hello, my name is Wild Lee of Wild Lee Tarot, and this is your Moonday message for the week beginning Monday, November 9th, 2020. Really tuning in to the energy that is available for us in the collective, meaning the entirety of our species, what energy is present here for us during this week. And as I really tuned in, I have to acknowledge it feels really murky. There's some murkiness in the field right now, some confusion, some uncertainty and unclarity as far as directions, what direction the timelines are moving in and moving into. And this has been a year, 2020, of this sensation, this murkiness, but it feels like it's reaching a new and different level this week. The word that came forward for us to tune into to really help find our footing and ground in this energetic soup that we're all moving through is the word compassion. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Compassion. Compassion I'm really feeling for self, compassion for others, just really holding this vibration, this sensation, the texture of recognizing that we're all human, we're all imperfect, we all make mistakes, and we only know what we know at any given point in time until we receive more education, until other things become clear. And so just really holding that, not only for ourselves and the fact that we only know what we know, but also for those around us and perhaps those whom we disagree with in really firm ways, whether it's political or over the things that are occurring in our collective right now, such as travel bans and mask wearing and all of the things. Just holding this sensation of compassion and agency. I have my ability to choose what is true for me, and so do each of you. And as long as we aren't impeding one another's truths, we can share space in a compassionate way. And the cards that came forward to help set the container for the energy that is present for us this week. The first card that came forward is the Seven of Wands. And for me, this card represents stepping into an energy of holding ourselves and our heads high and moving forward into the future without getting caught up in or embroiled in or identified with any drama that is going on around us. This card speaks to being really clearly centered in what we know and believe as truth and continuing to walk our talk one foot in front of the other without allowing ourselves to falter on either direction, getting into an emotional turbulence or something that is not in alignment with what we think, feel, believe, and therefore behave as. So this feels really potent this week for those of us who are in the United States. Wow, it has been such a huge wave into this presidential election. It has been coupled with so many things that have polarized and placed us at opposite ends of some spectrum that has been gifted to us through media consumption rather than seeing one another as fellow human beings. And even though we've come to a threshold in that, still nothing has fully progressed forward. There is still some question over what's going to happen. There's not been the normal concession of power that we have seen previously in this country within this democracy. And this card speaks to simply holding our place and allowing things to unfold without getting wrapped up in the drama or adding our energy into the manifestation of whatever is going to be. It's a time of witnessing while being in our own lane. That's what I'm feeling with this card. And this can be in the microcosm with the political landscape of this country, but this is also in, the macrocosm. But this also relates to our microcosm, right? So what's moving through in our personal lives is always being reflected to us outside of our personal lives in some fashion. And so are there places in our lives where maybe we're stepping outside of our particular lane, where we're giving advice that is unwanted, where we're judging another's experience or perspective, where we are looking outside of ourselves for validation or to invalidate something so that we can feel better or more comfortable about our choices and where we are at any given time. This feels really precious this week to claim that next level of self-sovereignty and agency and take back that power. We don't need to look outside of ourselves or at what others are doing. We can simply affirm ourselves, do what feels right for us, and keep moving forward, even in this space where we are all a little bit restless and uneasy about what is coming in the future. And the cards that came to support us this week, the first one is Justice. And this card's come up a few times over the last few months. It's a card that is intricately linked with Libra season, with this idea of balance, of coming back into right relationship. And it feels really potent this week at this time to come back into right relationship, to begin to reset power. I'm hearing the word power, that this week is really an invitation for us to step into our own power and also to witness what is unfolding in our country and in the world at large with regards to power. And what do we believe as a collective around power and how it should be used, how it should be shared, how it should be centered. We are being invited into great change in the coming months and years. That hasn't stopped. This tidal wave of 2020 is just the beginning of what we as a collective are being invited into. And it truly comes down to justice and liberation for all. And this week is going to be a portent and little glimpse and window into what's coming. That's what I'm feeling with this card. And the third card that came to support, this card feels like the advice card. It feels like the card that holds the key to unlocking another layer for all of us. Whoops. And apparently it wants to be in motion. We have the sun card. And this is an interesting card to get right now as we are in death season, as the days are getting shorter. And yet what I am sensing from this card is that this is the energy that would behoove all of us to really meditate on, to really bring into our own fields, our own bodies. The sun, it is literally light. It is the warmth and power of the sun itself, which freely gives literally life to this planet. If we didn't have sunshine and air and water and healthy dirt, we would not be living. Like, we cannot replicate these things in a way that is sustainable. And it is power, like survival is power. And yet all of these things are gifted to us freely. Nature was not designed for us to have to spend money or have some value or worth monetarily in order to have access to these things. Life simply begets life and death, as is the natural cycle of things. And as I'm feeling into this card, this advice card for all of us for this week, I'm also hearing this phrase, keep our eyes open, be witness. This is another attribute of the sun in that it is the witness for us all. It sees all. It is constantly circling and monitoring and part and parcel of our lives. It opens our eyes. It opens us up. It is important this week that we all keep our eyes open, that we open up to the reality of what is, while at the same time mindfully manifesting and dreaming what we want to be tomorrow, in the future. We are these brilliant conduits, these beautiful animals that have the potentiality of remembering the past, being fully present in the now, and dreaming the future that will be. It is truly power that we all inhabit, and the sun reminds us of that we can gain energy from that momentum, and that we can only really do it when we work together in right relationship, in respectful relationship, when we all recognize our own personal self-sovereignty, and we recognize it in each other and reflect that back to each other, then what we are capable of is amazing. We become unstoppable beings of creative change. We just have to choose it, right? It feels really potent this week, this invitation, these opportunities. I hope this message serves you. I hope that it lands, that you feel it really vibrating in your bones, and that you have everything you need as we continue to move through the murkiness of 2020. I would like to offer that if you need support, if you'd like to have a touch-in or a tune-up, a little affirmation, get some questions answered, I do have a couple of appointments open this week. I would be so delighted to share space with you. And if that calls, you can schedule an appointment in my bio. I look forward to sharing space with you soon. And until we meet, enjoy this message, and I will see you next Monday.